Calls for a review of the performance incentive and penalty mechanism under local power companies' scheme of control agreements. No more free COVID booster shots for non-high-risk people in the city. Hello and welcome to TVB News. On Wednesday morning, multiple parts of Hong Kong Island experienced a nearly hour-long power outage. The power firm responsible for the disruptions could actually be rewarded some $5 million for timely power restoration. On that, some lawmakers have called for reviews and recalibration of the current mechanism. Jackie Lin reports.
According to Hong Kong Electric, an equipment fault during their circuit maintenance was to blame for the widespread power outage on Hong Kong Island in the early hours of Wednesday. The blackout lasted 48 minutes, with more than 100 reports of people being trapped in lifts. But under the scheme of control agreement signed between the government and the city's two power companies, the firms could be rewarded for timely restoration of grid supply within 65 minutes. The incentive is a plus 0.015% adjustment to the company's permitted return. That means Hong Kong Electric could receive a bonus of some $5.5 million this time from the power outage. Hong Kong Island East lawmaker Edward Leung questioned the reward mechanism, as the power companies are supposed to ensure a stable electricity supply. Leung added the two firms have many privileges not many businesses could enjoy, including an 8% guaranteed annual rate of return. William Yu, Chief Executive Officer of the World Green Organization, said such reward mechanisms are often in place to ensure the quality of service, especially overseas where power disruptions are frequent. Still, he said the system should be fine-tuned, under which power firms should only be rewarded when the outage was caused by external factors such as typhoons, but not those triggered by human errors. In response, the Environment and Ecology Bureau said it will review the latest blackout and the incentive and penalty mechanisms with the city's two power firms later this year. Jackie Lin, TVB News.
Starting today, non-high-risk individuals will no longer be able to get their COVID booster shots for free. They will have to pay for the jabs on the private market. Some family doctors noted that the private market currently only offers the BioNTech bivalent vaccine. Timothy Lee tells us more.
As the city has recently seen a rebound in COVID cases, there is a growing concern about the availability of booster shots. Having earlier taken the suggestions of medical experts, the government will offer free booster shots for high-risk group members, including people aged 50 or above, those suffering from chronic health conditions, individuals aged 6 months or above with a weak immune system, pregnant women, and medical personnel. The measure will continue throughout the rest of the year and does not take into account a person's previous injections. However, those outside of this category will have to pay for their own jabs. Some local residents shared their thoughts on the new measure.
What comes free in this world? We should pay a little bit. I think it's not harm. And we should just take care of the elderly, maybe the youngest, the one at risk, and the rest. Hey, come on. It's not like 10,000 for a shot.
They're asking you to pay, and yeah. It's definitely going to affect it. I think most people have reached a stage where, hell, it's just another thing like flu or whatever. So I don't think people are going to rush out to get more boosters, personally.
Studies conducted in the U.S. showed that compared with unvaccinated individuals, those aged 65 or above who received the bivalent jab have a 22% COVID prevention rate. People aged 8 to 49 have a prevention rate of 43%, and those aged 50 to 64 at 28%. General surgery specialist Dr. Samuel Kwok pointed out that there remains a challenge for authorities to categorize residents into the high-risk group, since there are many young people who may suffer from chronic illness. He added that the scheme is mainly meant to incentivize residents to get the booster shot. Several family doctors have reminded residents that the BioNTech bivalent vaccine is the only option on the private market, and that the Sinovac boost jabs are not yet available.
Some in the private market stress that the price of a bivalent jab remains at $1,000 to $2,000. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
A survey conducted by the Chinese University of Hong Kong's Faculty of Medicine shows that over 70% of recovered COVID patients had at least one symptom 5 months after their diagnoses. Among them, around 12% were reported to have experienced sexual dysfunction and other reproductive problems. Veronica Lin reports.
CUHK conducted the largest long COVID survey in Asia, gathering answers from over 10,000 people from last July to December about the long-lasting effects of the virus. Over 70% of recovered COVID patients still have at least one symptom after 5 months. The most common symptoms include memory loss, poor concentration, sluggish thinking, insomnia, and so on. Symptoms sometimes can last for more than 3 years in certain cases. 12% of patients suffer from irregular periods, lower body pain, sexual dysfunction, and other reproductive problems. Among them, 80% were women. The study also shows that due to reproductive issues, a quarter of patients also have relationship troubles as well. More than half refuse to seek help from medical professionals. It is estimated that if 5 million in the city have been affected, around 420,000 are being troubled by these symptoms. Francis Chen, Dean of Medicine at CUHK, suggested that they should seek medical attention promptly. Chen said that the chance of developing long COVID symptoms is not related to the type of virus strain or the number of times someone is infected. He added that the most effective way of preventing long COVID is to get vaccinated. The Faculty of Medicine at CUHK suggested the government should establish a long COVID center to support patients and handle complex cases. Veronica Lin, TVB News.
Seagate Technology Holdings has agreed to pay a $300 million penalty in a settlement with the authorities over shipping hard disk drives to China's Huawei. The disk drives are worth more than $1.1 billion. Seagate sold the drives to Huawei between August 2020 and September 2021 in violation of U.S. export control laws. There is a rule that restricts sales of certain foreign items made with U.S. technology to Huawei. Washington placed Huawei on a trade blacklist in 2019 due to national security and foreign policy concerns. Still ahead, in Poland, ceremony marking the 80th anniversary of Warsaw Ghetto uprising. Welcome back. The United Nations has officially expressed concern to the United States over U.S. spying on the World Body's Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, and other senior UN officials. This after classified Pentagon documents were leaked on social media, of which 4 indicated the U.S. eavesdropped and gathered intelligence on Guterres. Meanwhile, Jack Teixeira, accused of leaking the documents, appeared in court again on Wednesday. Tracy Furness reports.
The Massachusetts Air National Guardsman charged with leaking the highly classified military documents made a brief court appearance in Boston Wednesday. The hearing was to determine whether 21-year-old Jack Teixeira should remain in jail while awaiting trial, but the hearing was delayed to give the defense more time to prepare. Meanwhile, 4 classified intelligence documents reported that the U.S. eavesdropped and gathered intelligence on UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres and other senior UN officials, according to the Washington Post. The United Nations officially expressed concern to the United States Tuesday over the spying allegations.
We have made it clear that such actions are inconsistent with the obligations of the United States as enumerated in the Charter of the United Nations and the Convention on the Privileges and Immunities of the United Nations.
Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin said Wednesday that the U.S. owes the international community an explanation over its exposed surveillance activities. Wang said, "This is not the first time that such a U.S. scandal was revealed. Claiming to uphold the role of the United Nations, the US instead unleashed a storm of eavesdropping against the UN. Styling itself as the so-called champion of freedom and democracy, the US uses advanced technology to build an empire of hacking. US senior intelligence, defense and State Department officials briefed Congress on the leak on Wednesday. Lawmakers said it is incredulous that someone as young and low in rank as Tejera had access to highly classified material and was able to share it online so easily. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
The 80th anniversary of the Warsaw Ghetto uprising has been marked in Poland, where Jewish combatants put up a mismatched fight against Nazi German forces in 1943. The commemorations were attended by Polish President Andrzej Duda, German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier, and Israeli President Isaac Herzog. In 1940, German Nazi occupiers corralled over 400,000 Jews into a small part of Warsaw, where most were later sent to death camps. When they took up arms, the Germans razed the ghetto to the ground, killing an estimated 13,000. Steinmeier said the Germans had learned the lessons of history and added there should be no more criminal wars of aggression, such as the current one conducted by Russia in Ukraine. The newly amended Occupational Safety and Health Ordinance will be gazetted a week from Friday. Despite the maximum fines being lower than originally planned, Secretary for Labor and Welfare Chris Sun believes it will still have a deterrent effect. In the amended legislation, the maximum fine for serious cases has been increased from $500,000 to $10 million, much lower than the $50 million proposed by the government. Sun stressed the effectiveness of the amendment will be reviewed in 2 years' time. He added that the industry should also make good use of technology to detect crises before they occur. And during his visit to Beijing, Catholic Bishop Stephen Chow visited 2 churches this morning. He said this trip has helped him understand the mainland more, adding that he hopes to visit more dioceses. The Catholic cleric hosted a mass at the Church of the Savior in Beijing. Also present was Joseph Lee, Archbishop and head of the Chinese Catholic Patriotic Association. Chow said he hopes there will be more Hong Kong bishops traveling to the mainland for exchanges and vice versa. Chow is the first serving Hong Kong Catholic bishop to visit Beijing since the 1997 handover. His 5-day trip is due to conclude tomorrow. That's the news. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.